someone goes to the president of, let's say, Sri Lanka, for example, and says, okay, I'm gonna, people have been to the moon, all of that. I'm gonna go to the sun, right? And that guy is like, the president is like, dude, how can you go to the sun? It's hot there. I mean, it's messed up. Like, it's you can't go there. It's very hard. And this guy is like, no, it's fine. I'll go there when the sun goes down, right? So there's no and it's like, it's a stupid joke. It's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know for some reason this just popped into my mind when you were saying this. But yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Day-to-Day podcast. And as usual, we are here with a few interesting topics to go through. Yeah. Today I thought we were gonna start with something AI related because we haven't talked about this for quite some time. So
that's right.
today this is specifically about ChatGPT, which has been taking over the world by storm over the last few months. A lot of new things happening there. Today specifically we're going to talk about, starting with at least the education sector, which is facing quite a bit of challenges on students using ChatGPT on their tests, assessments, assignments. And the teachers not being able to assess whether it's actually done by the student or by AI. So it's a quite an interesting topic. And this is the same with most other industries, including recruitment. Maybe we can get into that later. But starting with education, we'll get into the topic. So, Chandik, anything on that you want to share? Yeah.
Yes. Well, on education using ChatGPT. Should I confess that I have used it or not? So maybe not.
Maybe not.
I mean, okay, so it depends, right? So, my opinion on it is that AI is an assistant to you, right? It can't. You should use it to get your work done, to make your work easier, rather, right? Letting the AI do everything and getting credit for everything it's debatable, right? Because you're the one who's prompting the AI, right? AI is a tool that whatever ChatGPT or Bard or Midjourney or whatever, right? What they're using is just a tool, and you're the one who's giving prompts and manipulating it to get the output that you want, right? Maybe it's all right. I don't know. But when it comes to things like writing papers and stuff like that, which is supposed to be original work, so let's put it that way. If you let ChatGPT write your whole paper, it's probably not the best thing, because you're not doing anything, right? You're not learning anything. But you can use ChatGPT or tools like that to sort of do a bit of research, try to break topics in, because trying to search for things may not be the best way to optimize your time, because you have to just click and click and click and just find out some things. But also on the flip side, it's predicated on the fact that the results that ChatGPT throws out is valid. It's fact checked by someone. So there's a two-way sort of two sides to it, rather.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same idea from my side in terms of it's a good tool to get help from, I think. To build structure, like I've done this myself, to build structure. Let's say you need to build some sort of a report, you need to write some type of make some sort of presentation, and then you don't know how to structure it. But you can ask, what kind of structure to make it with? Like, what's the basic topics that I need to follow, and then that you can use to as help, as structure to build your own reports or presentations.
It's more like it's you use it as inspiration to get you started, right? So you put in whatever that you want, you get like a format, and you're like, you read through, okay, this is how it should be structured. Let me try and replicate this with my own work. And that makes sense. Yeah.
And also when it comes to the information itself, you have no idea how accurate or inaccurate the information on ChatGPT, because it's sort of an aggregator, right? Like it's taking information from around different articles that it has scrolled on, it has gone through, and it's taking all the information, giving you like a summary or set of information from those. So depending on how the articles that it went through, your information can be correct or incorrect. So it should definitely not be used for more official legal purposes and activities. And I noticed that there were some articles some time ago saying that that they have how do you say, some legal cases were written through ChatGPT and then it was incorrect. So you have no idea about the accuracy unless you go through it and verify things by yourself. So then it becomes your own work, but then not just taking it from ChatGPT and pasting it to your report. But thinking from a school point of view, from an assessing point of view, it's quite tricky still to like for teachers to understand, like, has this been written by an AI or not. There are some tools out there which are not still that developed to check like, was this written by AI? There are tools to check, but then I assume that they check repetitive words, more simpler forms of writing than
So that's a way around it as well. So disclaimer: don't use this. Don't ever use this. I will not. Sorry, don't ever go to what's that? I can't remember. Actually, I can't remember. I'm not trying to say, but, there's an app. Man, how can I? Okay, anyway. So you can sort of, it's not like a what do you call it? Like a text generation model or whatever, right? So it's more of a it takes in text and sort of writes it in different styles. So you have to give the input text, right? Quillbot, yes, that's the one. So that apparently has a feature I've seen recently that you can switch to say, there are AI detectors as well, right? So you switch that and it sort of writes it in a way that AI detectors can't detect it. I don't know whether it works, right? I have no idea. But that it's like AI versus AI, right? So let's see. There are things like that as well. So it's difficult, like you said, it's difficult to.
I mean, right now when most of the education, maybe not in all the countries, but most of the countries have adapted digital submissions to certain reports. In this case, it's still quite tough. Like countries who have not done this maybe do most of their assessments physically written in a specific location rather than home activities. Might be exceptions here, but even like if someone has to like write a report by hand, they can still just take it and copy it like from an article. But I don't think anyone does that anymore. I remember doing this like when we were young, like having to write like reports like physical on paper, like maybe quite early.
Not even uni, right? Not even
not any. No. I'm saying school, like again, like that's also
like
quite early.
Smaller grades.
Exactly, like maybe like when we were 15, 16, or a bit before that.
Oh yes, for the exams. Oh my god.
Yeah. But no, not anymore. And most of the things the reports are done, you just print it out and take. So obviously it's impossible. And then just getting on to the same topic on a recruitment point of view. This is a discussion that has been happening in sort of the recruitment industry. How to know whether the personal letters or the intention letters are actually written by the employee or by AI. It's quite easy.
No comment there. So okay, wait. I have a question there. Why would you want to check that, right? Because it's you don't. It's not about writing it's not about it's not about your writing skill that you're hiring for. I mean, unless there are specific jobs that you need to do, or that's a different thing, right? But in general, like, what you're trying to do is present your experience in the most concise and readable way to the person who's looking at it, right? I think it's okay to use AI there. Maybe
like this is just a discussion. Like I mean, I've worked as a recruiter in some points, and I'm not that much interested in like personal letters, I don't usually check them, because I know that, again, most of the personal letters, even if it's not AI or AI based, it's like the same structure. You mostly change the company name, like a few words around, and then you send it out to companies.
Exactly.
So it's not something that I personally evaluate anyone with, generally. But this is also applicable to CVs, and building CVs with AI, like at least CV content. And this thing is connected to the job ads itself. So you can take a job ad and build the CV to match the job ad, the keywords, take the keywords and build your CV based on that. And that makes things difficult right now, because companies are also adapting tools to analyze your CVs on how good of you are a match to the job advertisement, and then rank you based on that. So like these tools not just check the keywords, but also like assign scores based on where you live, university, how your educational background relates to the job. So there's a bit more depth to it, but it makes it more difficult, like these tools, to function as it was expected, when people also build their CVs based on the job ad, or like more accurately connected to the job ad. So then that becomes a bit of a challenge for recruiters to actually go through CVs, because it's a lot of time. Like sometimes jobs get hundreds of applications, and then you prefer to use tools like what I mentioned, like AI tools which can rank your CVs. This is more important for countries like India, because in their market, sometimes job ads get like thousands of applications sometimes, because of the competition. So it's more important there than in some other countries, but it's still important generally, and it's becoming difficult when people are using the tools for that.
Yeah, so it's like a as I said, it's like a battle between AIs, right? So one AI is trying to optimize your how well your CV is, okay, and the other one is just trying to see sort of how you know how to get it through to the guys there, right? So it's
Yeah.
So I think I lost my video for some reason. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Yeah. Anyway, we can just continue until I try to get it back. But
yeah. So I just want to mention one other thing as well at the same time. Like we were like in a meeting Monday, and one of people in our company mentioned that one guy came for an interview, and he was using an AI generated voice to answer some of the questions. Or like AI generated answers, and this person was just moving their mouth to kind of match with the audio.
Oh my God, man, that is like next level stuff. I don't know, like dystopian future sort of.
Yeah. So because I mean, if the video quality is not high enough, you can actually pull this off, because you don't necessarily see the same, audio video doesn't come at the same speed most of the time. So no, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. So what I was saying is like when you're in a video call or in a video interview, the video and audio doesn't exactly sync up like 200% like on the calls. So people can actually pull this off if their connections are bad or the video is not good enough. But yeah, that's also something that has happened recently in some of the interviews.
That's like next level stuff, right? I mean, it's smart. You're trying to hack your way into it, but it's
yeah. So I think right now we kind of have to either change the assessment systems again, like it has to be a bit more manual right now for both schools, for the teachers, and then for recruiters in the two cases that we discussed, to have like interviews, have some tests, I don't know, case studies, but this is also easy to done through AI. but more real-time assessments than things that they can take time and build on. So
It's time, right? Time is a factor there, right?
yeah, exactly.
Let's say you need to shortlist those guys and do
Mm,
it for that focus group set of
mm,
but
mm,
yeah.
mm, mm. Yeah.
Are we good?
Yeah, so we can move on to the next topic. Then another thing that we want to talk about. I think we mentioned this last week as well about India's launch to the moon, and connected
Yeah.
with that, they are actually progressing on their space program much faster, I believe, because we see we saw another news about India launching its next space mission towards the center of the solar system, is what it said.
Right. What Aditya or something, right?
I'm not
I'm not sure. I
sure.
can't remember the name. Maybe it's a different name, but yeah.
Yes, Aditya. Yes.
Aditya, right? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So it says it's launched shortly before midday. That means yesterday. It was Saturday. It was yesterday that it was launched.
That's
Launched. Yes.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, these guys must have this.
It's a solar probe, right?
Yeah. Let me check.
Yeah, solar something. So.
So the mission carrying scientific instruments to observe the sun's outermost layers in a 4-month journey. Yeah. Solar probe. Yes. Yeah.
So you heard that joke, right, about going to the sun? It's a stupid joke, but that just popped into my mind, so I'm just gonna say it. Right. So apparently, someone goes to the president of, let's say, Sri Lanka, for example, and says, okay, I'm gonna, people have been to the moon, all of that. I'm gonna go to the sun, right? And that guy is like, the president is like, dude, how can you go to the sun? It's hot there. I mean, it's messed up. Like, it's you can't go there. It's very hard. And this guy is like, no, it's fine. I'll go there when the sun goes down, right? So there's no and it's like, it's a stupid joke. It's a dad joke. It's a dad joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know for some reason this just popped into my mind when you were saying this. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, we can
That
cut that out.
jokes. Yeah. This part goes to the beginning of the video. Like,
yeah, I know. I'm just giving you content, aren't I?
Yeah. Well, back to the topic. Like, it's surprising that they have been preparing for it probably for a long time, right? Like they have probably many rockets ready to send out already. If this is the case.
Yeah, I mean, with success of Chandrayaan 3, I mean, you have to like keep the ball rolling, right? So that now everyone is focused on that. There's funding, people who are willing to fund it as well, probably, you know, and you just need to keep it going, I guess. Yeah, that's good. Let's see how it goes. Oh, nice. So we have another space power in the works, and it's gonna balance things off, right?
Yeah. Because it's so far, at least popularity wise, the US has been quite quite in the center of it. And then of course Russia has been US and Russia has been in the space game the longest.
China as well, but China is they're a bit secretive of their stuff. I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of like media coverage on it. Maybe it's just they want to sit, the media wants to sit on China and say like, you guys suck and all of that. But I haven't really seen anything from not a lot, I guess. But maybe
bouncing off. Go.
No, so I mean, China has all these military anti-satellite missiles and stuff. I think we spoke about these ones, but yeah, let's see.
Maybe we can get into it like on a separate day, like the whole topic. Like I wanted to bounce off a bit on China, something that I had in my mind in the last couple of weeks. I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about Chinese sort of like touristic places.
Dude, the guy with the specs, right?
Not just one person, like many people. Like they're doing videos of these like very beautiful locations of China, and it's been popping out a lot more to me in the last few weeks. And I've been like, what?
Is China? There was a ban, right, on tourists. It lifted, I'm guessing now.
Yeah, probably yes, probably yes,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Because of COVID and all of that, right? So
yeah,
they held on for a long time. That's why
mm,
you couldn't really get into China.
yeah,
You need like special visas for that. But I think now they're
mm,
trying to. I'm not too. I can't remember exactly where that is, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they might be just pushing a bit of tourism agenda, and they have
Mm,
quite access to take quite a good access to TikTok. So maybe they are
yeah.
influencing the algorithms. You don't know. But it is very beautiful. The locations that they show might not be the same as real life, but
Yeah,
I
could
think one
be.
of the locations that I saw in a video was used in making Avatar, like the floating
Yeah,
those
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah
Yes, yes,
those
yes.
floating islands or whatever. It's actually
Okay. Oh, yes, I've seen it. So I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not actually floating, but they've used a bit of CG there to. It's
Mm-hmm.
that landscape that they've used to build the
Mm-hmm.
floating islands on Avatar,
Mm-hmm.
and then also some very beautiful sort of another video that I saw was they have this sort of canyon. It's like
Mm-hmm.
and then on the sides they have built like
Like
buildings
a
and
city, right? It's
city
like
on
the
the
city
side.
in the canyon. Yeah, it's like
Exactly.
a very long
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right? And there's like a
It's on the
river going
sides.
down.
It's like on the wall. It's like
Yeah,
a city in
yeah.
the wall kind of, and it
I've seen
spreads
that.
like this. Yeah,
I've
and then they
seen that.
have like pathways to go from building to building, very small narrow paths. But it
Mm-hmm.
was another video that I saw that I can remember. But
Hmm.
and another one, yes. Okay, it's a lot. Like okay, actually now I'm thinking of it. I've been seeing quite a lot. Maybe it's
It's
because
not a
I'm
little, it's a lot.
maybe it's because I'm actually watching the video, so I'm getting more. Maybe
Yeah, you get feedback loop, right?
there's a video about like Chinese cities itself, like how the subways are very much advanced,
Mm. Mm.
or the subway
Mm.
has like sort of this in the metro, like in the trains they have this sort of holographic map on the glass that I saw.
Oh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen that now.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Maybe I can go to the history
You
and
can
share
send
with
it.
you
Yeah,
some.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So
it's
because
like the
I've seen like the subway stuff, right? So there's they talk about how you can use a subway where it connects to, and they showed me the map, man, of a subway. I
mm,
can't remember what city it was. It was huge. Like there were like
mm,
20 subway lines, and
yeah,
oh my God.
yeah,
China is doing public transport, right? So you're gonna give
yeah,
credit for
yeah,
that. But yeah.
yeah. And then another video about the subways I saw recently, or like how complicated the roads are, or something like that. Like there's this
Mm-hmm.
guy, like Chinese guy, he's saying, I want to get to work, but I don't know what to use. And he just says, okay, like, so show some roads which are like too complicated. There's layers and layers of roads going on top of each other, kind of
Ah, uh-huh,
the
uh-huh.
like
It's like
raised
the
roads.
right. The
And then
highway,
he said,
different highways meeting up and crossing each other, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
he's like, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to take the subway. And then he goes down like the escalator, like almost 7 layers of like down. He goes down one and then walks a
Uh-huh.
bit and goes down again, walks a bit and like 6 times like this to get to the sort of metro. So it's like deep underground. It's like, again, how do you say, to taking too much time and then like, okay, I'm going to drive again or something. And then it enters a building and it's like 500 meters or something inside the building to get to parking. So it's like explaining how big everything is or something like this in a bit of a negative, but wow, this is so big
Uh,
kind of way.
yeah,
Uh,
it's like this, right? So, like Chinese cities to put into scale, right? So it's like they're smaller cities. Relatively smaller cities, around 3 million, 4 million people,
mm,
right? And
yeah,
their bigger cities have a larger population than Sri Lanka or
yeah,
even
yeah,
Sweden,
yeah,
right? Sweden, anyway,
yeah,
Sweden is almost like
yeah,
10
yeah.
million, right?
Uh,
But yeah, it's massive, man. Those cities, I tell
I
you.
heard in one of the videos they were saying like it's 22 million the
Yeah,
population in
yeah,
one of the cities. So it's like
yeah.
okay, there's Sri Lanka living there in that city.
Yeah, like more than Sri Lanka, I think.
Yeah, goodness, yeah.
But yeah.
Uh, and then now
Uh,
I'm just thinking back on how it started. Actually, these promotions. It the first few things that I saw way back on not just TikTok, also on YouTube, is like these Chinese people or girls in the villages cooking. meals and all, like things like this.
mm,
I think that's
yes.
where I think I saw for the
I've
first.
I've sent you a few of those, right?
Yes,
The
yeah,
cooking
yeah,
videos.
yes, yeah. So
The
it's
one where
like,
animal runs and falls into the pot.
yeah, and then like I've seen videos about people making soup or something
Mm,
like this sort of Chinese music in the background. They just take like different ingredients and make soup. They're
yeah.
making like cotton and stuff from
Uh,
the yeah. But now when I think about it, like
uh.
it's much more. I was only thinking about the sort of touristic
You've seen this?
location.
Have you seen this guy who makes like dishes? So it's there's not a lot going on in the background, but it's just really hyper focused on the video on the food that he's making. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming it's he because the voice is a male voice that I hear. Um, uh, and they're like it says weird things like add when instead of saying add water, they say add water from Mississippi River. I'm like,
Really?
it's
No.
like a weird thing to say, right? And they have a lot of weird stuff to say, and but I
Mm.
mean it's a good recipe, right? I mean
Yeah.
it looks nice, but
Mm.
yeah, there's stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have seen like a lot of videos like what I mentioned in the beginning, like there's someone in the village, like they go out, pick their own vegetables and come back to the house and then start cooking and then they make the
Mm,
meals different types.
mm,
Yeah, that's how it started, I think.
yeah.
Yeah. And there was another video that I saw, it's like they are on like they're in like like sort of in a ground level
Mhm.
and then they say this is this looks like ground level and then from that point onwards there's like buildings up and everything
Oh
but
yeah,
just
yeah.
walks a
I've
bit
seen
and
that.
then looks
I've
down
seen
and there's
that.
like 22 floors
They're
of
like on the 20th floor, yeah. Oh
yeah
my
yeah
God, yes.
yeah so it's just that way I think they are investing a bit on getting people
Mm.
to see China a bit more I think and all the videos are in English all the videos are in English so
Yeah, exactly. Not in Chinese,
yeah
right? And not
and
in
not in
Mandarin.
Yeah, not in Mandarin, exactly. So
Yeah.
if it's in English, that means it's to the Western audience that they're making the
Mm.
content. And it's not just some random Chinese TikToker making videos.
Mm. It's like properly
So
produced and there's like
yeah.
good angles, good
Yeah, and
video, good
and it's
quality.
good English. Most of them have quite good
Yeah,
English.
yeah. I mean, you can understand it, right? There's of course an accent, but you can still
Yeah,
understand it.
yeah, exactly. So I think they are trying to probably change the image that they have
Mm.
in certain ways. And also
Mm.
like we also just hear through media and we haven't exactly seen what it
Mm-hmm.
is what we hear about China is through most other media what they are doing they are
Mm. So I've
sort
seen
of
a bit because I've been to China once.
yeah yes
Yeah, but
tell,
so
tell
I
us tell
mean,
us tell us your experience John.
it was long time back, right? So
Yeah
I didn't like it, to be very frank,
mm,
right? Um, because it was very unclean, right?
mm,
I felt it was unclean. So the moment I stepped into the airport, it was. I mean, don't get me wrong. The food was amazing, right?
mm,
It's so good. We went to the Great Wall. That was fun.
mm,
So the most impressive thing was actually not even more than the Great Wall was to see the Terracotta Army. That was like,
mm,
my God, okay.
mm.
And the food. I mean,
when when when
those three I
when
enjoyed.
when was
This
this
was oh man, I can't remember now. This is
like this was when you were in university right
2014.
I think
Yeah,
because I
2014
remember
or
you were
15.
complaining about the smog and everything
Yeah, oh my God, dude, I hated that. So because I have very sensitive lungs for some reason.
mm,
Um, and it was like polluted. Like so when we landed in Beijing, it was so bad. The flight was delayed. We had to circle around. We couldn't land because there was too much smog, right? And when we eventually landed, when we got out, we couldn't see like more than 1 meter ahead. It was just smog like on the ground, right? It was like so thick, and it wasn't like this. When you see like in these movies where there's like white fog coming, this like looks nice.
mm.
No, it's like brown, and it's smog where it's bad. It's you cough when you're breathing it in.
Yeah.
It was so bad,
Did you
like
have
it was
masks
so
and
bad.
stuff on you, right?
Yeah,
Like
we had to
from
wear masks and stuff, but still, it was very bad for me. I
mm,
was coughing and I got sick,
mm,
and I hated the trip after that because yeah, the only thing that was good was the
mm.
food. Yeah, I have to say that. So I'm hoping China has learned their lesson, because it's like this, right? So they've done some work towards that. So they are trying to go into renewable energy. They're trying to sort of move their vehicles into that. So even when we sort of went there were certain things, rules where certain cars could only go out on certain days to minimize the pollution. And they're investing heavily in the public transportation, again, electrified buses and things like that. So I'm hoping it has changed, but yeah, my experience wasn't that good.
Yeah. Because I also remember, like, during that time period, like there was a huge issue with like the smog and like pollution, air pollution in China. But I think they have hopefully solved that by now. At least to a certain extent, the smog complaints are not there anymore, I think.
Probably, yeah, it's reducing because people are dying, right? There was a town that just people started dying for not no reason, but yeah.
Like I don't know anyone who visited China recently, but just to check how things are. But it's I think it's also one of the countries I really want to visit one day, just to see, one of the, like the East Asian countries like China, Japan, Korea,
Go to the
maybe.
countryside. Don't go to the cities. Don't go to city. I mean, go to the cities. Go to like nice cities. There are nicer new cities actually.
Yeah.
Don't go to like Shanghai and Beijing. Those are very overrated, I feel. There are newer cities that you can go to, and I've seen. I'm obviously I haven't gone, obviously, but you can probably check those out.
Yeah. But let's see after some time.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully they're trying to change their image, trying to change their policies. Maybe we don't know about things that we know of, but it's good. Hopefully we'll be able to see some positive change from China. So then I think we have maybe time for one more topic. We would want to talk about sort of subscription based pricing, about different
So
things.
I was thinking as well.
And starting on like something that is quite close to us right now.
Yes. Why dude? Okay, so it's not bad. I mean, yeah. So what happened was PlayStation Plus, they increased their prices. So it's a global thing. Apparently, there hasn't been any specific communication for Swedish accounts, but it's a global thing. So it's starting from the 6th of September. They're going to start sort of charging the newer price. It's maybe we can put the prices somewhere. But it's going to be, so let's say if your subscription is due to be renewed after the 6th, you'll be charged the prices. So this is only for the yearly subscriptions, not the monthly ones. Monthly ones remain the same. It's just that the yearly subscriptions that are going up. So
yeah, because the yearly subscriptions were considerably cheaper compared to the payment in the monthly months. And we had this discussion about this about a week ago.
Yes, on which one to get.
Yeah, on which one to get. Like, and then they increased the prices just like few days after.
It's almost like they heard us.
Yeah. But then, like, what do you think about generally about this sort of prices increasing in sort of these services? Netflix did the same thing. They put in restrictions into accounts, like sharing. Spotify didn't increase pricing, but they also put in some restrictions recently about how to use. And then generally a lot of
Plus as well, right? Disney Plus as well, yeah. And even Xbox, they removed something. I can't remember what exactly. It wasn't the subscription price that increased. It was something related to game trials that they took off just before. That was actually related to something like gaming. So there was the new game that came out recently called Starfield on Xbox and PC. So just before that, they removed like the $1 trial or something. You can pay $1 to get a trial. Or I don't know what it is exactly, but they also did some changes on that end. So it could be a lot of things. I feel like it's it's like offer a low price, get people in, get them addicted. And you can't really get rid of it after that. And just keep them going. But also, I mean, that being said, companies, and that's like general company mentality, but also prices have increased, inflation, all of that. And it could be a result of that as well. So you can't really just attribute it to one factor. So yeah, it's a multiple factors in play.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Nice.
also, I think, people have to be a bit more selective about the services that they take in right now.
Yeah.
Again, like, not everything has the same quality. I think when these sort of subscription services started up in the beginning, I think it because of less competition, or I don't know, less players in the market, you only had a few things to go to, and then since they were also new, the services usually were much better in the beginning, or like the content were a bit better. And this is how almost all the subscription services start in the beginning, and that's the case with PlayStation. And Netflix was something that I had in my mind about the content that they make, how much time or effort they put into the new content that they make on, and then how it has changed over time. Right now, when it comes to at least the media, there's a lot of people telling that Apple is making quite good content on Apple TV. Like their content is better than most of them. But then again,
But
they're also
they're
quite
not paying their writers. They're not paying their writers.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
topic, but yeah.
Yeah, yes, I actually wanted to talk about, but then we will talk about this about the writer's strike, and then the
Yeah.
actors and writers strike sometime later, because that's also affecting quite a lot of things these days. The
Yeah,
things are
they're gonna
coming.
extend it to gaming apparently. So just a heads up on
Really?
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although it affects us negatively, it's good that these standards get set. Like
Yeah,
people are not getting paid. That's not good.
exactly.
The gaming industry has been notoriously famous for not paying people good and having bad working conditions. So it's good that they are taking a stand. I mean, if the game's prices go up because of this, or it's bad for us, but then it's good for the people who are working, I think.
It's like this, right? Most of it. Okay, this is a separate discussion. Because digital releases, you don't need to necessarily charge full price of the disc because there's no physical disc involved,
Now,
but they still
yeah,
do, right?
yeah,
So I think companies are just profit driven. They don't
yeah, true,
really,
true, true.
they just go with the flow and just try to get as much profit as you can,
Mm-hmm.
unless you
Yeah.
make, unless you complain about it. So
Mm.
regarding game development, probably a good case scenario is Baldur's Gate 3 that released
Mm,
very
mm,
recently.
mm,
It's a very polished game. It's AAA. It's a AAA title. Like
mm.
generally, what happens is even like a new thing that came out, Starfield has a lot of bugs. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really infect the gameplay that much, but there are times that it does, and it's a negative experience for you pay $60 or six or
Mm.
whatever amount you pay, and you get that game, and it doesn't work out. But you need to sort of patch it and get it for updates. Cyberpunk 2077, a good
Mm.
example of that. Had a lot of bugs when it started, but now
Mm.
I think it's a bit better. So plus Baldur's Gate 3, they paid the workers on time and they weren't like killing themselves or shit like that.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So it was
Mm.
a good. I mean, it's a good use case to maybe
Yeah.
base stuff on. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I generally think it's a good movement. But I mean, in the US, and I don't know in other countries, because like in Sweden, for an example, unions are quite strong when it comes to, and then in countries like Sweden, but then US, and then maybe a lot of other countries, maybe they don't have the same authority or power to demand the good working conditions and salary. So we'll maybe dive onto this topic a bit more deeper
Yeah,
in
it's
another
a
episode.
separate video for
Yeah.
separately.
But if not, I think for today this is it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to our discussion about the
yes,
few topics. And if there's any suggestions, or if there's any things that you are interested in hearing our opinions about, please leave some
yeah.
comments.
Leave
And
some comments.
then
We'll take a crack at it.
yeah. Then, thank you very much for listening to us again, and on YouTube, on Spotify, or Instagram, TikTok, depending on where you see us. But yeah, we'll catch you soon in the next week. Then, thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good one.